Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the first episode of our second season. We're so excited of Holding Court with the Empress of West Hollywood. Yes. Oh, audience, please. Thank you more. We want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Enoch Miller, your Empress of West Hollywood, and we're going to get right on going here in just a second after a couple quick announcements so that you guys know. We want to thank our special people that make this happen all the time, our producers, GayLifeLA.com, and then also to our host, Kings Road Apartment Homes, over here on Kings Road in Melrose. I want to thank them so much for allowing us to have this beautiful location. Also, if you guys are not getting your tickets yet for tomorrow, June 11th, from I think it's like 7 to like 10 or blah 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 sometime, go and look up on GayLifeLA.com. We're doing their mini all-star reunion at Mickey's West Hollywood. General seating is still available as well as VIP tickets, so get your stuff now and purchase your tickets. There'll be links on GayLifeLA.com, and there's a little ad on the side as well as the Facebook pages for Mickey's West Hollywood. So tomorrow, June 11th, and then you can also see them there perform live, as well as a lot of the queens. They'll be Angina will be there, Mariah Paris Balenciaga, Morgan McMichaels, Shangela, Chi-Chi DeVane. I feel like I'm missing someone, but they'll all be there, like the fun ones, so you'll see all the good stuff. And then also, we just had a release of West Hollywood Magazine. Our latest issue is out. It has great stuff about the urban village, all seven neighborhoods here in the city of West Hollywood. We'll be doing a release party here in 2 weeks on January 24th from 7 to 9 p.m. at Kitchen 24. Special shout out to David Dickerson and Romy over there for helping us out with that. So Kitchen 24, January 24th, 7 to 9 p.m. That's the announcements. Done. All right. So let me get to my amazing guest for my first episode of Season 2, PrettiBoiRoq. Yay! Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We're really excited. And so for anyone who doesn't know, PrettiBoi is a Southern rap artist who's been doing this for like almost, 8 years? 5?
Yeah, well, writing for about 8.
Yeah, writing for about 8. And then how long have you actually been PrettiBoi?
Oy.
All my life.
Since birth. But professionally as PrettiBoi, I would say probably about 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, we're approaching the 3rd year that I've actually been
So right around 2014 is ish.
Yeah.
That's when PrettiBoi came out. So we'll go all the way back to the womb and start there at the very beginning. So you're originally from North Carolina.
I am.
Southern boy, born and bred. Corn-fed?
I was.
He was, okay. So he's got that good stock, boys. And then you moved to LA, so you moved to LA right as you were starting the main launch of your career in 2014. So talk to us the initial process of being in the east side of the country. What was that experience like compared to being here in LA now?
Night and day. I grew up in a really small one-stoplight town. Literally one stoplight.
That one's
we just got a second one, but it's completely useless. I just don't think they wanted to be a one-stoplight town anymore. Graduating class of 80-something people.
Oh wow, so really tiny.
Yeah. And so I was always the one who was just like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. So I went to university and was a fine arts major. I actually didn't do anything with music in college.
Okay.
I did musical theater, but I was a visual arts major.
And so that was more like graphic design and photography, kind of things like that. Okay. So what really turned your direction to music and, well, more specifically rap as well?
Well, I was always that white kid in the car who would rap all the Nicki Minaj verses and Lil Kim verses when they came on. Everybody get quiet because they knew I knew it right before. And I always wrote music, but I can't sing. So it's I'd have all this stuff and I'd write and I'd be like, I wish I could perform, but I just can't carry a tune in a bucket. So, long story short, I didn't actually pursue music until I reached LA and actually fell into the Foxes group. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And we'll touch a little bit on that later, but because I'll get to what the Foxes was. It was a cabaret group he did, Dr. LeJoy. But we'll go through the rest of this first. So being, what's it like being an LGBT youth in North Carolina? I mean, I can assume it's probably not the easiest place to be out. Kind of explain that experience to us a little bit.
It's hard. You grow up in a certain mindset because of where you're from. It's very religious in that kind of part of town, and so you grow up religious. Like, I spent my entire life in the church, and so I always felt different. And then I feel like, for me, like, for gay people, when they actually come out, or like anywhere on the spectrum, it kind of, when puberty starts happening, you start realizing, not only am I different, I'm sexually attracted to something I shouldn't be. And so, I mean, I did all the usual stuff. I was like, oh, I'll only be gay in college, then I'll come home and marry a woman, have kids, and blah, blah, blah.
I'll experiment, and then I'll come be a good little
but I'll
boy.
wait till I get to college to do it so daddy doesn't know. Luckily, though, I got caught with my first boyfriend by my stepmother.
Oh, jeez. What was that? What was that one like?
Well,
were you guys, wait, I gotta ask, were you guys full on doing it?
No.
Just kissing?
Just like heavy petting and some making out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Darn. I was hoping for a juicier story. Okay, so yeah, explain kind of what happened with that.
Well, I was managing a restaurant, and he was a year younger than me, so I got him a job.
Okay.
So we could like hang out. So we could hang out together, because we were both in high school, so it was really hard to kind of like go to each other's houses and things like that.
Makes sense.
So the restaurant was kind of like our hangout spot. And one night we were just closing down the restaurant. And the whole restaurant's full glass like this, and you just get that feeling somebody's looking at you. And I look over, and my stepmother's like face pressed. And
wait, she legit like doing this?
She was mad. I was like, I love Brenda. Brenda is an amazing person, but at that moment, I thought she was going to kill me.
Oh shit.
And it was like, it was not difficult for the family. I think it was just kind of like, it was gonna happen. It just didn't need to happen that way.
Oh, I see.
And
did they kind of know?
Well, it depends on who you ask.
Okay.
My grandmother made a statement when I was like 2. My mom said she always kind of knew. I mean, I was the kid who would wear dresses and put on clip-on earrings and
party.
Yeah, like I was obviously not building blocks with the rest of the boys. So I mean, I don't know. We've never really like touched on like how they felt about it my whole life. We've just come to terms with it now, and they're fully supportive of everything.
That's fantastic. And so was it a really tough transition leaving North Carolina to come to LA and actually pursue a career out here?
Yes. It was actually kind of a last minute decision to come to LA. I was originally going to move to Chicago and decided A, I hate cold weather, and B, everything was just falling apart. And I was already kind of traveling out here to help with some of the films. I was doing some directing and producing. And one of the guys was like, why don't you just move out here? I have a room opening up in January. And this was in November. So I literally saved $1,300 and just drove across the country.
And that pays for like a day of rent out here, which is nothing. And you originally moved out to Anaheim and out in the OC. So what was your initial experience coming out here and experiencing? I mean, I know you were doing some of the acting and stuff with that. But when you started living here, what was your initial experience of Southern California?
It was a culture shock. I mean, where I'm from, there's not a lot of culture. It's very
tiny town.
Yeah, very Southern Baptist. It's white. Like there's not a lot of culture. And coming out here, and there's so many different cultures from people all over the world, which is amazing. I loved it, but it was like kind of shocking to me to like see all these people from all these different walks of life and all these different religions, all just like living together in one happy space. It was awesome.
Well, I wouldn't say happy when we're cold. We can accept each other a lot better than most people.
I'll take a step to that.
But you're right, it is true. It's the equivalent of what the American society is, a melting pot of God knows who and everyone in between. And it is. I know my first experience, I did come from other big cities, but you're right, it's a little bit of a shell shock when you're just like, I'm not used to this, and it's just like, oh my God, all this is here. This is so crazy and so cool, but holy crap, it's a lot to handle. So kind of, let's go a little bit into now the like musical theater acting side before we get into the main music part of your career, which is the bulk of what you're doing. What kind of inspired you to get involved with that, other than just being gay? Other than just a gay boy from North Carolina?
Well, it's funny because it was my junior year of high school. And I was in art class, and this girl's like, we need boys for our musical. And I was like, I don't want to do theater. It's dumb. Like, why would you want to do this? And she was like, well, we're having callbacks today. And I forgot what the bet was, but I lost, so I had to go to callbacks. And so we went to callbacks, and I mean, the moment I stepped on the stage, the lady was like, why weren't you at auditions? Blah, blah, blah. Wow. So like, I got like a lead supporting role in the first musical. Luckily, it was not a big singing part.
What was the musical, if I may ask?
It was Fame.
Oh, Fame. Oh, wow. Awesome.
So I got Mr. Myers.
Okay.
So I was the teacher, which is also how I lost my accent.
So they made you lose the accent for the role. Okay, that's impressive.
You can't be a teacher that grew up in New York. And
True. Did you have to, like, kind of put on a New York accent at all, or was it just straight up just lose the Southern accent?
Yeah, I just kind of neutralized my accent.
Okay.
I just came across as someone who was educated.
Okay.
Which I wasn't, but...
No, they have good school systems out there. Okay, so that's kind of, you were in a way suckered into it a little bit, but you found out that you enjoyed it.
I loved it. Yeah.
Okay. And so what was your overall experience doing theater compared to what you do now with music?
You know, I think it's people who grew up in the musical theater program, they are natural performers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you learn how to work a stage, you learn how to project, you learn all these things that a lot of times I feel like when artists are starting out, they kind of have to figure out.
Okay.
So I felt like once I got on stage, I was already had that like foundation.
Got it.
And I just had to create who PrettiBoiRoq was and how he was going to do what he did on stage as compared to Corey as the musical theater kid.
And that's the biggest part of it all too, because a lot of people, it's that you've got to be able to be comfortable, be able to perform, and be able to look like you're having a great time, and just freak out on the inside and not show everyone else you're freaking out on the inside.
Exactly.
So you're right. It's probably an amazing thing to have to prepare you for what you're going to eventually do with music. Now let's get to the fun stuff. So, what really inspired you to do rap, other than you were just the white boy that knew all the Nicki Minaj songs? What really kind of was like, oh my god, I actually want to do this as a career?
Well, it was 2014. I just joined the Foxes cabaret group. And Kia, the leader of the entire group, was like, yeah, everyone has to do a solo.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not a professionally trained dancer, so dancing solo was like out of the picture. I couldn't sing, and it was right around the time, and I hate even bringing this up because I hate being like compared to her, but Iggy Azalea, Fancy had just dropped.
Okay.
And she was like booming. I mean, she was #1 on the charts and all this stuff. And then Beg For It came out, and I was like, that's a really easy song.
Yeah,
it's super
really
slow. I was like, you know, and I rapped before. I was like, so can I rap? And he was like, I don't know, can you?
Oh, yes. Okay. Shade
Kia's saucy. I love some Kia.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was like, yeah, I think I can. So my outfit was absolutely ridiculous. It was
party.
Oh my god, half naked on stage, leather jacket. But I did Beg For It, and everybody just fell in love. They were like, you're so good. Like, why aren't you doing this all the time? So that kind of became my thing. I was the rapper of the Foxes group.
Okay. And I know you don't want to be compared to her, but I mean, Iggy Azalea really does have that whole, she's not an amazing singer. She's not like this vocalist, but she can rap, she can carry a rap beat and actually make it sound good. And I feel like you do not the exact same thing, but along those lines of, hey, you're not this amazing vocalist and blah, 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 but you can make a fucking rap song sound great. So it's great that you had this kind of opportunity, and I love how like each step along the way you kind of fell into these perfect things that really kind of progressed you into who you are now as PrettiBoiRoq. So let's, like, the cabaret, because that's not an easy thing to do either, and the fact that you weren't professionally trained either. What would kind of do you think was maybe your biggest hurdle you had to do in order to kind of get you through that? That eventually, once you kind of accomplished that, you were actually really good at what you were doing with it.
I was always fine with the solo parts. Like once I did my first one, every solo, I started writing my own stuff and performing original tracks. My hard part was, I was with a bunch of dancers, people who have been dancing since they were 8, 9 years old. So they would go in and they learned 3 songs worth of choreography in a night. And I'm still stuck halfway through the first one because I'm like,
I'm figuring this out.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even know what my leg's doing right here. I need a mirror. So I think that was the hard. It was mostly the dancing, and luckily, like, Kia knew, like, you're not a vocalist, so he never put me in like group vocal numbers or anything like that. He never made me sing. Good. But yeah, he would make me dance, and he always pushed me, and that was the thing. He wouldn't let me just be like, well, I can just sit this one out. He's like, no, you're going to be in this number. Okay. So
at least the one part he forced you on was a part that wasn't at least like being mean about it, and it really helped you progress in that. So how did dance, I know you said that actually started doing the rap, but how do you really feel like now the dance helped incorporate to what you're doing as what you do for PrettiBoiRoq now?
Well, I haven't done any like choreographed numbers and any, like I did like a brief one in New Shit for 5 seconds. Yeah. There was like a little choreographed part. I haven't really incorporated it yet, but I look forward to doing it. Because Kia actually has done the choreography for every single live performance I've done as well. Oh, wow. So I'm looking forward to integrating that, and I think because I did do the cabaret show for a year and a half, it's helped me like when that time does come.
Okay, fantastic. And who are kind of some of your inspirations in the rap community that you kind of look to as like, oh, I like pieces of what they do, and you kind of see like, oh, so and so, like Nicki Minaj is my inspiration, or something like who was that originally, or who is currently today?
Originally, I was always a huge Lil' Kim fan growing
Okay.
up. I love her uninhibited rawness.
Got it.
Like, she was, when she came in, nobody was doing what she was doing, nobody was saying what she was saying, and she just didn't give a crap.
Oh, yeah. No, she didn't.
Like,
she said
she
whatever
would,
she wanted
like,
to say.
Talk about body parts that would make me blush. I mean, I grew up Southern Baptist. But,
Oh,
you know, I like that she was uninhibited and just what she did. And then I feel like when she kind of took her break, and then I feel like when Nicki stepped onto the scene, she kind of reignited that within me. Like, that just, she does. She's raw. She's tactful. So I would have to say greatest inspiration, mainstream, is definitely Nicki Minaj. I mean, everything she comes out with, I'm like, you're so clever. How do you do that?
Yeah.
Like,
well, and I just love how the fact that she can collab with freaking anyone, and everyone wants her too, because she is the perfect little rap breakaway in every song that you always hear. And it's like, you always think Nicki Minaj will rap, and you think, oh god, now I'm just spaced on his name, from Cayocho, for any kind of Mexican
yeah.
Oh god, damn it! Now
Don't do this to me.
I'm gonna forget it as well. Anyway, moving on. But so when you started originally doing it, was it because you know you had said you've been writing your whole life and doing stuff with writing? Was it hard or easy to kind of transition to doing more rap style types of writing?
Oh my god, so hard.
Okay.
Because not only are you with like writing like songs, like vocal songs, the timing can be a little more lax.
Okay.
When you're writing on a beat and you're rapping is very like yeah, so sometimes like if your cadence goes off, if there's one too many words, or if there's like one too many syllables.
Got it.
Or not enough syllables, you have to figure out ways to say what you're trying to say, the same exact sentence, but make it longer, shorter.
Okay, so because you've got to make it hit to the beat on everything. Oh my gosh, I can imagine how hard that must be of finding a word that's too short or too long or whatever you're trying to make it say. How often do you use your thesaurus? That's what I want to know.
Oh my god, I am the king of rhymezone.com.
Okay.
Like, I'll be like, okay, so I have one more bar to write. And like, I'll like flip through Rhymezone. I'll be like, oh, that's a fun word. I didn't think about that one. I'm like, how can I make that work in everything I do? And then I do, and I somehow manage to make it happen.
That's really fun. I mean, because honestly, I'm the kind of person that's like, I use that thing on Word where I'm just like, syllable, synonym. Oh, okay, this works too as well.
Yep.
So I can see how that's really hard having to keep to a specific rhythm or a specific beat. What do you find is the most, beside that, the most challenging aspect of writing also with R&B and rap style music?
Honestly, because it's constantly evolving, it's constantly changing.
Right.
Like, I mean, with like new age rap, like, you know, you listen to like the Migos and like people like that who are coming up and coming really big in the game. Even Cardi B, like, it's a completely different sound than what was going on 2 years ago.
Exactly.
So I think trying to keep yourself relevant while staying true to yourself within the genre is extremely hard.
And I mean, even rap nowadays, I mean, because it sometimes will blend with pop, it sometimes, hip-hop is a completely different aspect to it as well. And so you have all these people that are crossing lines with, where it's like, it's sometimes like Sean Paul will do a little, it's like, feels like it's rap, and then it's like total R&B, and then it's hip-hop, and then it's, so how do you work with doing the different transitions? Do you stay more on the rap side, or do you kind of fluidly move between some of those genres as well?
Well, my first EP, I think I was really into the pop genre.
It sounded a little bit more poppy.
Yeah, it's very poppy. It's very like you could hear it at a club playing in the background.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god, who's this? I've never heard this before.
Yeah, very dance club, EDM kind of. Not like EDM, sorry, dance club.
And then for like, so with my new stuff, the things I'm writing and working on now, I wanted to kind of go more focused on like the hip hop aspect, like with the beats and the way I write and things like that. I wanted to keep it where it could still be mainstream, but not be so pop.
Got it. Okay, so kind of keeping more towards, like, I mean, like you do it like a Cardi B, like a Nicki Minaj, like Lil' Kim. I mean, you're wanting to stay more to those styles, but then not be like, again, so completely like, oh, it's just like, yay, it's poppy, yay, it's another Taylor Swift.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be able to do what Nicki does and collaborate with anybody from any genre, but I want my music to be more on the...
Exactly. And you did a really fun collab just this year, last year. God, I keep saying this year. last year, beginning of year in January, you did a collaboration with Mickey Taylor from London called Destiny. It's on his Midnight Palace track. And it was really interesting because it's not at all your style, but you helped write it and you kind of blended your style very well with it. It was very, I don't want to say techno-y, but it was very much like this kind of electric, like ethereal kind of song, and then you come in like all smooth rock, smooth rap on it, and it just really was a nice blend. How was that working with Mickey Taylor?
First off, if you're watching this, I love Mickey Taylor. He's super awesome to work with. We're actually planning on working together again soon.
Oh, fantastic.
Just because he's one of those people that when you work with, he'll let you have something and just run with it.
Right.
And that's what he did. He sent me like a 6-minute thing, and it had like 45 seconds of his stuff on it, and he was like, I just want you to write on it. I love this song, but I want you to just do it. And so I literally wrote my entire 2 verses and the hook based off of what little bit of lyrics he gave me.
So he just gave you a little chunk and was just like, boom, go for it.
Yeah, and I just asked him, I was like, what do you want? What do you want? And then I would send him demos back, and he's like, I need you to go harder. And he really pushed me. He was like, you know, I need more emotion. And he was, because I'm like, you know, lazy rap, just blah, 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 let me do my lyrics. And he's like, no, I really want to hear what you're saying and feel what you're saying. So, I mean, just working with him, he's an amazing, amazing human being, super creative. So
well, and I've listened to some of his other stuff before, and your genres are totally different. Absolutely. But I love the way you guys were able to blend this really cool song, and it was the best of both worlds with it, and it was just really interesting to see how much. You could hear a lot of your writing in it from some of your other songs you've seen, and we'll touch on those here in a minute. But it was really definitely interesting because it's so not your genre, but you guys made it work, and it was really cool with that. What was maybe one of like the coolest things you did with that was really either challenged you better or just made it kind of like a really interesting collaboration?
I think because mainly it was just the whole concept was completely different. Like if you listen to 90% of my songs, it's about in the club, popping bottles, getting crazy, twerking.
Getting crunk in this club.
Yeah, you know, super shallow, like fun, like West Hollywood music. And with that, it was like I had to write about, like, you know, I had to talk, like that song to me was so much about who I was and coming from the East Coast to the West Coast, and like because the whole song's about overcoming your obstacles, rising from the ashes. And so to me, I think that was the hardest aspect, on top of just writing on something that's not even close to my typical beat.
Well, and it sounds amazing. If you guys haven't heard it, you can go like YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, where the frick you can find anything music-wise. It's all on there. And it's Destiny by Mickey Taylor off the Midnight Palace album. And so we're going to go back to when you first started doing PrettiBoiRoq and your first EPs and singles that came out, and kind of walk through that process, and then we'll touch a little bit on each one, and then at the end we'll kind of talk about their whole process as like how you come up with these different things. So the first one, back in around 2014, was let me see if I got my notes. Oh yeah, we did. You did Pretty Boy Anthem, and so that was kind of a little bit more I want to almost say coming out party in a way, and that song's kind of really celebrated Pretty Boy and all the stuff with that. What really inspired that one and kind of helped it bring PrettiBoiRoq into being?
Well, like I said, when I was working with the Foxes prior, and I was kind of like writing my own stuff, but it was always like I was taking samples of like music already made, like I did like a We Will Rock You remix and things like that.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to create something that was me, especially once I started writing it. And I was actually writing Pretty Boy Anthem simultaneously with New Shit, and I would just like get stuck on one, go to the other, get stuck on one, go to the other. But Pretty Boy Anthem was just like I found this beat, and this was back when I was like not making any money. I was working at Olive Garden. Okay. So like I was scraping to buy beats from people, and I was like saving and saving and saving. And I'll never forget the guy like was like, I'll sell you the beat for $350, which to me was like, oh my god, that's like 5 years worth of payments. So I bought the beat, and I was like, I really want to do something with this, and I had the lyrics for both songs. And New Shit just didn't fit. It just wasn't working. And then Pretty Boy Anthem just kind of evolved, and then I only had 2 verses written along with the hook, and then I needed a 3rd verse, and then after that I just fell in love with the track.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so how long did it take you in the entirety of doing because like you're saying, you're doing these kind of side by side. How long do you think it took to do one, like when you did Pretty Boy Anthem and then when you did New Shit?
As far as like the writing process,
of actually putting the entire single together.
Pretty Boy Anthem I would say took me a good month.
Okay.
So it's the first the first hip hop song I'd ever written.
Right.
From start to finish. And I remember I was working at the Velvet Lounge in Orange County, and I'd be driving back at 3 a.m. because I was like a bar back.
Oh, jeez.
And I'd just be in my car like, oh, that sounds good. I'm like typing up lyrics while I'm on the freeway, like probably trying to kill people.
No, it's probably a parking lot. Knowing LA, it's probably a parking lot, so you're stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
No, people, he was not driving and texting.
No, that never happened.
No.
But I mean, I would just, and every night after work, I would just come, like, on my way back, I'd, like, find, like, cool little quirky things, and I was, like, placing it together.
Okay.
But it probably took about a month, and then after that, I mean, recording process took way longer.
Well, I mean, that's a whole other beast in and of itself of trying to get that all worked out, but I know some people, it'll take them months, it'll take them a week, it'll take them 5 minutes sometimes, it just happens. So with New Shit, did that kind of roll together a little quicker because of you, like, kind of made everything finish with Pretty Boy Anthem, and then New Shit was a little bit easier to kind of wrap up?
It was. I think that once you complete your first song, I feel like the pressure's like a little bit off of you. So then I feel like your creative genius just frees up a little bit because you're not like so stuck on completing something. So New Shit, after Pretty Boy Anthem, I mean, within a day or two after the first one, I was done with that one too.
So it's just like as soon as you were there, you're like, oh, wrapped up, done.
Yep.
So, and you did a really cool video with it, and it's kind of, I mean, it's you popping it in the club with all your homies, one drag queen, and it's really kind of just the whole kind of party aspect of it all. What was the inspiration to do that song, and kind of what inspired you to do that video as well?
Well, New Shit, the lyrics was kind of like my anthem to my friends back home.
Okay.
Because, I mean, back home I was like the party kid. Even in college, like I was the one that was like Tuesday night, I'm like, let's go out, let's get wasted, let's do it. And I'm like rallying the troops.
We gotta study. No, we gotta drink.
No, you can study tomorrow, it'll be fine. That's why I don't book any classes before 2. But so it was more like me just like I said, it was like an ode to my friends back home. Like all the people who supported me before I was like anything and everything. And it was so like all the little like hooks and catchphrases and little innuendos in there was all a reference kind of to them. And
so it's a nod to the friends back home.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
My Carolina people.
Aw, and it's actually a really, it's total West Hollywood. Like, I mean, I think this when you think everyone in the community around here where they go out with all their friends, they kind of go to the bar, they all sit around, they're all hanging out, some pretty things are dancing around you, and then like one of the go-go boys comes, sits down with you because you all know each other.
Yeah.
And so I really like that fun aspect of just hanging out with your friends and it being a great old time. And it relates so well to from here to also being back home from North Carolina. So I really like that kind of nod to both areas of where you were and where you are now. And then we'll kind of, let's see, then this is like the fun one because I really like this one a lot, the Ken. So what really inspired this song? Because this was an interesting one that was kind of like, you're the Ken doll or kind of like something like that. How did that kind of get started?
Well, original Ken, I kind of got the idea because Ray Schremer did the Black Beatles. And Nicki Minaj did her spinoff, which was Black Barbies.
Right.
And I just really liked Nicki's part. Like, when Nicki redid it, I, like, instantly fell in love with the song. Like, Black Beatles, I was like, alright, it's fun, it's cool, whatever. And then Nicki put on her thing, and I was just like, yes, queen. So I was, like, in the back, and, like, I always got jokes about, like, my skin, especially after I shave, like, at work. They're like, oh my god, you look like a Ken doll, you look like porcelain, like, your skin's so smooth, blah, 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 blah.
Sorry I'm beautiful?
Yeah.
I mean, not sorry.
Good genetics, trust me, it's not because I take care of it. So, so then I was like, oh my god, how cool would it be to do a remix called Original Ken? And so, like, the worst part is I had to sing in certain aspects, which are super auto-tuned.
They weren't really bad. I mean, okay, fine. They weren't bad. I didn't think they were bad.
It sounded like a Kesha single.
So it sounded good.
Yeah.
Yes, Gia Gunn, yes.
So I actually recorded it in my closet. And just put it on YouTube. Like, it wasn't something I was planning on putting on iTunes because it was a cover and I didn't even know how to get licensing for things like that.
That's true, yeah.
And everybody just loved the song.
I really did.
Yeah.
It was so, like, because when you listen to all your other songs together, they kind of all sound like, I mean, it sounds like you. It's kind of very similar to the things you usually do. And this one was a little out of left field and everyone's like this is good. Like, wait, no, this is really good. Like, where the hell did this come from?
Oh my God, he has more than one sound?
Yeah! No, I'm kidding. He has a lot more than one sound. But it was just really kind of left field from your kind of general style and kind of your overall theme of how you do everything else. And it was just really, it was a nice kind of change for like a nice little break between, because this was kind of, this was your third one or fourth one? Wait, I'm mixing them up.
Original Kin came out after the EP, and it came out, God, I can't even keep
I'm switching them. I think it might have been your fourth one, if I remember correctly.
Fourth single.
Or was it third?
I think it was third, because it was Original Kin, Drop Remix, then Next was my last one, right? Yeah, I can't remember.
It was right kind of in the middle.
They were all like within a couple weeks.
You had done a couple. You did this one, which kind of threw everyone off a little bit, and then you came back to your kind of your regular PrettiBoiRoq kind of, this is the theme of who I am as an artist, and it was really a nice, fun break, because it gave everyone like, oh wait, what's he gonna do next? Like, it was a really kind of like, it made them stop and turn. It's like, oh, we've heard this. No, wait, let me go back. Let me listen again. Like, what was this? So really, what was your initial kind of feedback from everyone? Because again, it was very not what you regularly do. How was your initial feedback from fans and everything?
I was getting emails on my Instagram, like my friends like back home were like, where can I get this? Where can I download this? And I was like, it's not anywhere. It was literally recorded in my closet. I like bought it to myself.
Find that amazing that you did that literally.
Well, I redid it. I did redo it, yeah.
But still, I mean, the fact that you did it just all by yourself, like, she finally came out of the closet, ladies and gentlemen. But I mean, it's just impressive when you can do something like that, and it's not this, I had to go get crazy produced and go get some crazy tech person to make this sound all pretty, that you did it all yourself, and like the majority of what you've been doing is so self-taught, and it's really inspiring to hear that it's not just like, oh, I did it with like some professional. It's like, no bitch, I worked hard, I did this myself, this is my shit. So what did you think, obviously with the auto-tuning aside, what did you think was the hardest part of getting that album, that single out and to people?
Well, first getting licensing for it. Okay. Because when you release things through Apple Music, obviously if it's a cover, you have to like have your T's crossed, I's dots, whatever you call it. But yeah, so but it was actually surprisingly easy after I found the right website for it. And then the other thing was, so if I'm going to recreate it and release it as a professional single, how do I switch it up just enough to where it doesn't sound exactly like? And that's part of what you have to do with
licensing too, because you have to make sure that something with the beats or whatever they do when they check it, it has to be off a certain way. That way, it's not specifically the same thing. Otherwise, it's copyright infringement or blah 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 blah.
Absolutely.
So that was kind of really the licensing and the making sure all the legal stuff is put aside on that. And then you did everything else with the EP and that, and then finally the one that I thought was interesting was the one you did where You Don't Own Me, and you had a special feature on that with A-Rad Win-Win.
Yes.
Andrew Grish model, porn star, hunk, tits for days. What was that like originally working with A-Rad and doing a collab of your own with someone like that?
It was interesting because I've always done everything myself,
right? And
with like new shit, we had decent amount of views on YouTube at the time, and I was like, how can I make it better? How can I bring more of a audience in? And I was actually kind of working with WeHo, in Seattle at the time, and he's like, he always has like Andrew Christian models. He always has like really famous queens and things like that. Not because he needs it, because he's a talented individual, but it draws in a crowd. Like, that's what you have to do.
And you use their social media base to build your social media base, and it gets that to that many more people.
Absolutely. And so I was actually in contact with Topher originally, and we were talking back and forth, and then he had to do something and kind of went off the grid a little bit, and so I contacted Arad, and he was like, yeah, like, I would love to do it, like, here's my model fee, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, so for new shit, the concept was so extravagant. It was like, we rented out an entire club. I had like all my friends there. I was like, I really just want something super simplistic, super simple, like, and with the idea of having a lower budget. I think I wound up spending about the same. But the idea was like, keep it more simple, like make it more about like the clothes and the things like that. And of course, a Rod, because he's a beautiful man. Like, everybody likes looking at Pretty, so.
And she's the pretty boy.
Yeah.
But I really like the fact that, because, it's a different collaboration when you do a group in that setting you did, because it was like, oh, we're shooting you just out having fun and hanging out. It wasn't like this one-on-one, very intimate, not intimate, but it was very, like, you guys are together on this whole shoot. What was that, was that your original idea for how to do it, or did you kind of have to adjust based on kind of how it all kind of came together with the two of you on set?
I think it was 50-50. The original concept was there. The chemistry was a little different than I had originally intended.
Well,
and so,
right.
Because we had just met each other that day.
Right.
And so, of course, what you see in your mind and what actually gets produced is always a little bit different. So we kind of had to work with how it works.
So you had to play off each other and figure out how that worked on film.
Exactly. So, that was, to me, the biggest difference. Overall, though, the concept, I loved it. Like,
it came out really great. That was actually the first one of yours I saw. You Don't Owe Me. God, I keep saying love me or hate me. You Don't Owe Me. I don't know what that. And that was one. And then I went back and saw all your other ones. But I really liked, because it's obviously very catching. You do a lot of really cool looks of shots with you, just kind of posing and do all the fun stuff with the different outfits. But it really was a clean video throughout. And obviously the music works perfectly with it too. But it was just really nice how it all looked really great and then flowed with, like you said, something simple, minimalistic, and just like you and the model.
Yeah. So
how originally did you think the audio, the fans took it when you put that one out? Obviously, they loved him, but...
Oh my God, it was all over the grid. So this was the first one I had done. But the first video new shit I didn't put on Facebook, because I was like, I want YouTube views. I have to have YouTube views.
Got it.
And then I was working. There's always other artists I work with that give me suggestions, and I'm like, that makes sense. I was working with him, the one I did next with.
Okay.
And he was like, you should put it on Facebook too. He's like, because it's so, people on Facebook, if you just embed the video, they'll watch it, they're going to share it. Like,
it's true.
And it just took off on Facebook, and not for all the best reasons. I got...
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Oh my God, you should just go through one day when you have a good 2 hours and a bottle of vodka and just read some of these comments.
Not even worried, ladies and gentlemen, a bottle of fucking vodka.
Oh my God, like for every, you're bloated, like you're so ugly, how much do they have to pay this model to be interested in this guy? And of course, that was half of it, and the other half are like, oh my God, this song's so fun. Like, I had a kid at Orange County Pride stop me when I was on my way to the stage and was like, oh my God, are you the, I may be a bottom, but I ain't no bitch kid? And I was like, yes, that's me. And so, like, he made me, like, Snapchat with him. So I was like, because he's like, my friends won't believe this. We love your music.
Oh
and I was
my God,
like,
that's so awesome.
It was just very interesting. But the overall, I feel like the people who know me and know what I'm about loved it. But the problem is when you open yourself up to the general public, you're going to have mean people saying mean shit. It's what happens.
Well, and I've heard this a lot from LGBT artists. They say the gay community is extremely more rough on LGBT artists than they are with regular artists. What is your experience with that?
It's very true, and it's actually really disheartening, because to me, like, as a community, because we have a lot of mainstream artists that don't support us, that we support, so why are we not supporting the people who are doing both?
Right, exactly.
I'm all about, anytime I meet a new LGBT artist or like find one online and things, I always try to look up their music. I always download it. I try to put the money into it, because this is something that we could potentially, we run the world already. We just don't realize it. So I think that it's really disheartening. I think that we also come from a culture where we're stigmatized from a young age. So I think a lot of our hostility comes from our past.
Oh, I agree, 100%.
And it's just, I don't know. I'm not going to hate on anybody.
No. And it's very true. I love that you said that, because we had another guy, I don't know if you know Derek Jameson, but he's another LGBT artist, and he said the exact same thing. He feels they bring on that anger and that pain and all that stuff from when you were younger coming out, and kind of push it on to these other people, and especially as artists, and he said gay men are the most angry sometimes to him, and he's just like, what the fuck have I done to you? Like, what the hell? So I can see that completely, that it is true. We kind of pull all our grievances on them because it's a culture we've grown up with. What do you find is, I love that you brought up OC Pride, because you were a part of that. What do you feel, especially doing public performances and being live on stage, what was your overall experience doing OC Pride, and was that the first time you had ever done a live performance?
No. Well, I had performed at OC Pride the year prior, but I performed as part of the Foxes.
Okay.
And I actually performed New Shit. It was like the like world premiere before my EP. You know, I was trying to be all fancy with it, and so like the Foxes got like 5 numbers.
Okay.
And I was one of them.
Okay.
And that was.
Was it rough?
Well, this.
Let's go. Oh wait.
Oh, it was that. You might need to refill yourself for this one.
I'm gonna top myself off for the good shit.
So we were. I don't know. I was originally supposed to have backup dancers, and then it just didn't happen. So I had this huge stage, and I'm not a very big person. So I was like, well, I have to figure out a way to like fit this entire stage. So I'm like bouncing around. I'm running out of breath. My outfit was a mess. I just wasn't at all prepared to have something that large.
Well, and it's also the first time you've ever done probably that big of a live production.
Exactly.
Too. So what? So it's all kind of crazy. What do you feel like the greatest thing you got out of it from OC Pride?
Well, they invited me back the next year because apparently they got good feedback on my performance.
Great, though.
So this past year actually closed down. That was the last performance at the US Theater. And I did a full 15-minute set, which I've never done before.
Holy crap.
And I pulled it off, which I'm not sure how I did. I was just managed to keep my breath the whole time. Like, I was like, all right, Corey, don't bounce around. Yeah. I'm in the back, like, with the paper bag, trying not to pass out before they put me on stage. But it was awesome. And then, like, there was so many, like I said, there was so many people who have, like, started to learn about my music, and then there was so many people after the show came up to me and were like, we want pictures, we want autographs. I'm like, this is awesome. Where are my CDs? Why am I not handing them out?
You're like, where's my shit?
Yeah.
That's really amazing, and I hear from so many people, I mean, the difference between recording in a studio to actually performing live is so night and day. What do you think is, for you, the most daunting experience of being out in front of everyone and kind of putting yourself out there that way?
It was probably, like, I've realized to write shorter songs. Because, I mean, Pretty Boy Anthem's a 4-minute song. It is a long song. I've never performed it live, and you probably will never see it live. Because You Don't Own Me was 3 minutes and 17 seconds, and I was like, oh my god. Yeah, I was like, why did you put a third verse in this? Why? Like, I literally got him to add to the track to add a third verse. Yeah, because in the studio, you're recording verse, stop, verse, stop, verse, stop. So 3 minutes doesn't sound like a long time. Until
you actually put it all together.
And then you're on stage, and you're just like a minute and a half in, and you're like, how much longer do I have?
You sit on stage in between breaths like, oh shit. There you go. So I can see that it's a lot, and especially when you don't necessarily have other group of people with you. You don't always have you don't have like 50 guys behind you dancing or next to you or whatever. So it's mostly all eyes on you.
Yeah.
And it's a lot to kind of keep them engaged, keep their attention, because we have, no attention spans. A little bit. But we'd love to play one quick one from, which one are we doing?
You Don't Know Me.
You Don't Own Me. And we're going to play that here in just a second.
Oh my god.
Right as soon as I play it.
Let me spit it real quick with a face so flawless and a booty so thick. You think you can arrest the shit? I shatter your heart like glass to brick. Boys line up, I just take my pick. Won't catch feelings cause I ain't no chick. Have you so whipped you be begging to hit? I'ma leave your ass hanging like I'm turning a trick. You think you was the first to try? Get what I want, then I say goodbye. PrettiBoiRoq, what the name imply? Don't touch the exhibit cause you ain't my guy. Out in pro trying to stake a claim. Try to walk away and you scream my name. Bitch, don't forget I've been in the game. Fall for the king, got yourself to blame. You got your hands up on me. You pressed up right behind me. Don't even try to call me, cause you don't fucking own me. I'm just so sick of messing. It's my patience you testing. So get your hands up on me, cause you don't fucking own me. First off, better show some respect.
Oh my god, and that was You Don't Own Me by PrettiBoiRoq. And I love this, I know shit, because what was it? No emotion. Oh wait, no, crap, now I'm fucking up.
Won't catch feelings because I ain't no chick.
Yeah. you have really good one-liners and throughout all your songs. Like the other one I really liked that I wrote down was from New Shit, Bad Boy Persona, but an innocent face. I'm like, innocent girl. But it is, you really do fun things where you can pull lots of fun quotes from PrettiBoiRoq quotes out of all the songs, but that was my one I liked on there. It's like, yes. So when you kind of put all these things together, it's obviously never an easy process to come up with music and come up with stuff, especially when you're having to find a beat and keep your words specifically to that beat. Kind of go through what your overall process is and when you write a song. It doesn't have to be any of them particularly, but kind of just you as yourself as you go through in your writing process.
It's kind of actually changed in the past year because with the EP, I actually bought all the beats.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You were saying that.
But I already had songs written, and so then I was trying to like
force it.
Yeah, it was sometimes like a square into like a round hole. I was just like, this isn't working. And so there was a couple beats I actually bought and I never used because like, I just couldn't figure out how to make it work. So with my new music and the things I'm writing now, I actually find music I like. I buy it. And then I just listen to it. I'm like, all right, what's the feeling I have? Like, what is this song saying to me? And I'm still have all the clubby beats. I'm sure everybody's going to love the new stuff because it's still very West Hollywood.
Yay!
It's a little more fun, though. So then I'm like, okay, so then after that, I mean, the writing process has gotten so much easier since I started relying on the music to tell the story instead of my lyrics to fit the music, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense, because then it's like you said, you're finding the feeling from that music and writing around that feeling of what that music inspires or whatever. And so when it comes to, so you've done the writing process of it all and actually got word and beat kind of put together, then do you go straight to the studio, or do you kind of bounce it back like with someone else, or get something like an opinion from a friend or someone or a colleague?
Well, I go back in the closet, and I usually record a demo in my room, and then I kind of like do what I've learned how to mix and master, which is never something I would produce but then if I have management, I send it to my management. I'm like, okay, so this is what I have I'm thinking about, what do you think?
Got it.
Some of my really close friends, I'll be like, okay, so out of these two, which one is just, and I kind of have that core group here there in El Segundo that always hears everything before it comes out because I know they're gonna buy it anyway. I'm like, I'm not gonna let you listen to it unless you're gonna buy it.
Yeah.
And so they always kind of and they've helped me with direction. They're the reason You Don't Own Me was the second single because I actually hated the song and it was like, it's my favorite. Yeah.
That's so funny though, and I love that the fact that it's you take it to where you're like, no, I hate it, I'm never gonna put it out, but you actually give it to someone who's like, no, I'll totally buy that, and he ends up going out and doing really well. So it goes out, you go kind of get it kind of eardrop to a few people, and then how long do you usually take with studio time to actually put everything together? Is it kind of all in one shot, or do you have to break it up?
I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I mean, I usually I've never spent more than 45 minutes laying down a track.
Oh wow. Yeah. That's really good.
Well, because I have these demos, and I make sure I know my song front and back before I go in, because nothing ticks me off more than seeing people come in they don't know their lyrics or they don't, it's just dude, you're paying by the hour.
Yeah, especially those places.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not made of money, so.
Yeah. And also the thing too, the fact that you already have your beat with it, you have half the battle there of that matching the lyrics already. You're not having to dick around with any of that. So I think that really is cool how it kind of frees up your process to be a little quicker. And plus, like I said, those things, if you've ever been to a studio, those places are not cheap. Even though we might be, those places are not. But it's so. And then once you kind of get that all through, I know you said it's kind of evolved over the years. But what would you say in total now? Your time of starting writing to finished production. What's your full process or timeline process on all that?
I mean, if I literally put it all together, if I wrote the song, as soon as the song was done, I would record it and things like that. Maybe a week.
Okay, that's really good.
Yeah, but I mean, right now, because I like to write, and then I like to, like I said, record a demo, and then I listen, I'm like, okay, I don't really like that line. Let me figure out a way to change that, or I don't really want to use that word. Let me figure out a way to, still say what I want to say, but a little bit different.
Okay.
So, I kind of like writing and letting it sit and incubate, and then...
Yeah. No, I was, like you said, I was just meaning from the entirety process of just, none of the in-between, because I know sometimes people, like you said, you gotta put it away, not think of it, come back and, tweak it, and then kind of go wherever you want to go with it, which is really cool. Week is, so great, because some people are I spend months and months and months and months, and it's never gets done until finally a year later on some of the stuff. Through this entire process, what would you say has been your biggest hurdle that you overcame, And then what was your kind of biggest success through your entire career over the last few years?
One of the biggest hurdles to me was being comfortable with who I was, because even like, you know, I had like moved out here and things, I still had like a lot of like my past and where it came from, like plaguing me and keeping me from just being the super flamboyant rapper who's walking around in booty shorts and like all these things. And like, you know, I always like when I would write, I'd be like, oh my god, I don't really want to release this because, you know, my family's gonna hear it. And then I got to a point I was like, you know what? I'm too old to be worrying about this mess anymore. So I would just, I mean, I think that the moment I like let go, and it just, everything just got so much better. Like my music got better. Every single I've released since my EP just continues to grow. Like,
that's awesome.
And so it's just, I think that was the hardest, is like being who I was and just knowing that I'm okay.
Yeah, and that's, I think anyone, being true to yourself is always the hardest part, because you're always like, oh, what's so-and-so going to think, or what are they going to say about me, and you've got to be able to like, fuck it, I mean, live with it. And then what would you say has been your biggest success in this entire process?
Just people knowing who I am. Like, I mean, I was at the farmer's market in El Segundo, and this little high school kid comes up, and he's like, oh my god, are you PrettiBoiRoq? And I was like, in my gym clothes, like, hadn't shaved in a week, like, I looked straight up homeless, and I was like, yes, I'm semblance of him.
That's homo comfortable, thank you very much.
Yeah, and he was like, I just want to let you know, we jam out to You Don't Owe Me all the time.
That
and
is
I was
so
just
cute.
like, what the hell? Like, where do you guys even, you're like 16, you shouldn't be listening to my music. Like, I don't have a clean version out. Like,
this is not PC, parents.
Yeah.
This is totally for public consumption, it's just not publicly compliant. Sure, we'll go with that. But no, it's really great that you can get something like that and just being recognized on the street and being like you said, it's so cute that he comes up like, I love that. Where are your parents? You should be listening to that shit.
Especially in El Segundo.
That is very suburbia a little bit, I agree. And what would be one thing you could say to anyone, well, let's say to yourself 4 or 5 years ago, or to someone that's just starting out in a music career or any type of performance career?
Don't hesitate. I think I spent so much of my life trying to fit a mold that wasn't me.
Yeah.
Like, even like going to college, like I was going to be an art teacher. And that just wasn't who I was.
No.
And I think that if something I would tell myself at 18 and something I would tell anyone who's turning 18 and they have this like passion and this drive, first off, don't let your brain like stop you from doing what you want to do. And the second thing is, don't let anyone else.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people in this world that are just hateful and negative and will tell you can't do it because they can't.
Yes.
And
especially
if you
out
have
here.
the dream, you will accomplish it.
And that's especially true in LA. I mean, in this community, everyone's wanting to do better than you because they want to be where you're at. And you've got to be careful and really guard yourself around those types of people. But we're really so honored to have you on as our first guest for the second season.
I'm excited. Yeah,
it's
this was
so
fun.
exciting.
This was fun. I was nervous a little bit.
You were perfect. We want to say special thank you to GayLifeLA.com, who helps produce this show, as well as our host, Kings Road Apartment Homes, for allowing us to have this amazing space. Don't forget to get your latest issue of West Hollywood Magazine out today, or you can go to westhollywoodmag.net to see the online version if you're a lazy bitch and can't get out to a store and get your free public copy. Damn it. Don't forget to also go and sign up for their issue release party that's going to be coming out. We'll be putting out an event reminder here soon in the next couple days for January 24th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the amazing Kitchen 24 in West Hollywood. And also this Thursday, tomorrow night at 7 p.m., go and get your tickets for Mickey's West Hollywood. Meet the queens from All Stars. And you can go get that. It's going to be amazing and have so much fun. Thank you so much, Mickey's West Hollywood. And we're really excited to see you there. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of this today. And we'll see you next week with the amazing Sir Jet, which we're really excited for. So get your clay on, and thank you so much. Bye.